Recently in Hanoi, the Vietnam Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Bùi Thanh Sơn, and the British Minister of States at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, Mr. Hugo Swire, has co-chaired the 4th Strategic Dialogue Vietnam-UK. The strategic dialogue covered the issues of international economic integration, security, defense, and global issues. In particular, the UK appreciates the achievements of Vietnam in the international integration process, as well as its efforts to become a market economy. The two sides reaffirmed the commitment to soon end the negotiations of free trade agreements between Vietnam and the EU, opening up new opportunities for business cooperation of the two nations. Besides, the UK paid special attention to build the partnerships with Vietnam, primarily focuses in the field of education, research and development. Hello everyone, and you're watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Net Viet. The talk today with the Ambassador of the UK to Vietnam, Mr. Giles Lever. He will share with us more about the main focus in strategic cooperations between Vietnam and the UK. And let's welcome His Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency, for joining Sharing Vietnam today. Dear Your Excellency, the 4th Strategic Dialogue between Vietnam and UK has just been held in Vietnam with the presence of the UK Minister of State for Foreign and Commonwealth, Mr. Hugo Swire. So can you share with us the main highlight outcome of this event? And were there any differences with this event compared to the previous ones?
What struck me personally was that I worked in Vietnam 20 years ago when I was a young diplomat at the embassy, and at that time our foreign minister came to visit Vietnam, and we didn't have a strategic partnership at that time, but we had a formal dialogue which covered all of the areas of bilateral cooperation, and it lasted less than 2 hours. This time the strategic dialogue lasted for more than 5 hours, including lunch. And even then, we could have carried on longer. So it's a very comprehensive discussion.
How do you assess on the outcome of these events? And were there any prospects that have been brought up from the strategic dialogue?
Certainly, we discussed a number of concrete areas where we could further strengthen our cooperation in education, in science and research, which, as I said, is a new area for us, which we're just starting on. We discussed a number of issues about trade and investment, where we hope that we will come up with solutions to certain issues, and we talked about how we can maximise the benefits from the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement when that is signed. As you know, the British Department for International Development, our ministry which deals with overseas development assistance, has had a country programme in Vietnam for nearly 20 years, and that programme is going to conclude in 2016 because we feel that Vietnam has made very good progress in economic growth and in reducing poverty in particular. And there are other countries in the world that need assistance much more. So the theme, in many ways, of the talks was, instead of a partnership that's based on aid, where the UK is the donor and Vietnam is the recipient, we should celebrate the success of the development partnership, but also we should put more effort into building a partnership which is suitable for the 21st century, but a partnership of equals in support of our shared interests for economic development and global prosperity, focusing on areas like education, science, as I've mentioned, trade and investment, sustainable development, green growth.
During the dialogue, UK has stated that it will taper off the aid for Vietnam from March 2016. So will there be any further support of the UK to Vietnam?
Yes, very much so. I would like to be clear about this and your viewers to be clear about this. I think we'll continue to support even after the Department for International Development finish their country programme. UK ODA will continue to support Vietnam in a number of ways. And also, I would just say it's important to note that the UK is a member of the EU and we are a net contributor to the EU budget. That means we pay in more than we take out. The EU will continue to run a major development program in Vietnam for the next 6 years, around 420 million euros over a 6 or 7 year period, and essentially 16% of that money comes from the UK, comes from our contribution to the EU, it comes from British taxpayers. So we will continue also to support Vietnam through the EU program.
UK is one important and essential force supporting Vietnam in the process of improving labor capacities, innovative research, vocational training, and restructuring the education system. Through the activities of the UK representatives in Vietnam, such as the British Council, Research Institute of Vietnam UK, and other NGOs and the private sector. UK is in the process of launching the Newton Fund. Vietnam is one among 15 countries globally to receive support from this fund, worth up to £10 million over the course of the next 5 years. Besides the Newton Fund, the Embassy continues to support ODA programs in many areas. Accounted in 2015, UK has launched many projects related to climate change, capacity buildings of the Vietnamese negotiators in the International Climate Change Forum, or the 2050 Calculator, which believes to improve the national energy policy.
Chúng ta có một cái dư địa rất rộng cho cái hợp tác giữa hai nước. Tuy nhiên, cái tiềm năng phát triển thì còn rất lớn. Và chúng tôi nghĩ rằng để xứng đáng với quan hệ của một đối tác chiến lược thì chúng ta còn phải làm rất nhiều việc nữa để có thể đưa quan hệ hai nước vào chiều sâu, nó phù hợp với lợi ích của cả hai bên và đáp ứng cái yêu cầu và nguyện vọng của nhân dân cả hai nước.
It seems that education and research and development will be the main focus that UK will support Vietnam. So can you share with us the new fund called Newton that the UK will support Vietnam education through this fund?
I'm very excited about this because it's a new area for us, and as I say, Vietnam is one of quite a small number of priority countries internationally that we've picked out for cooperation through the Newton programme. Overall aim is to promote partnerships in science, research and innovation between the UK and Vietnam. In Vietnam, our main partner is the Ministry of Science and Technology, who we will coordinate with, but we hope that many different Vietnamese institutions will benefit from the opportunity to partner with UK institutions under Newton.
How is the urgency and the demand of having such fund in the context of Vietnam?
Thematically, we want to look at 4 areas, particularly for funding under Newton in Vietnam. One is urbanization and the cities of the future. How do you develop your cities to meet the demands of the future? One is healthcare and life sciences. One is information and communications technology, and one is green growth. The Newton grants are available for a variety of purposes. So one of the areas is people, where we're seeking to build capacity in partner institutions. So building up the capacity of Vietnamese research organisations through exchanges with British institutions. The second is actual research itself, so supporting specific research partnerships between a British institution and a Vietnamese institution. And the third one is what we call translation. It means taking the results of research or scientific discovery and turning them into practical applications. So we're very excited about this. We think that it will focus on a number of areas which we think are important to Vietnam's sustainable development, but we also think that British institutions and British researchers can benefit a lot from the partnerships with Vietnamese counterparts.
Other success in educational cooperations between Vietnam and the UK, we should name the Research Institute Vietnam UK, which has been recruited from 2016. So what have this institute been achieved so far?
So this comes under the umbrella of the University of Da Nang, and on the UK side it's supported by the British Council and also Aston University in the UK, as well as some British companies in Vietnam who are generously supporting the cost of the institute and offering scholarships for low-income students in central Vietnam to attend. The institute is also the location for what we call the UK ASEAN Research Hub, which is a program the British Council has to support research cooperation with all of the ASEAN countries, focusing on areas such as information and communications technology and also finance and accounting. So that's one very positive development. Another positive development is that the Research Institute is looking to forge a partnership with the industrial zone in Da Nang, which has been created to support the development of high-tech startup businesses. Overall, our aim essentially is that this can be a centre that's doing international standard, and then anybody who studies, any Vietnamese student or researcher who studies at the institute will then have a qualification which is recognised in the UK, or they can carry that into further study in the UK.
And can you share with us the plan of the Embassy of the UK in order to push forward other strategic cooperations between Vietnam and the UK?
There are many other aspects to educational cooperation. There are British commercial companies which are operating in education in Vietnam, either teaching English or supplying education materials, and we support those just as we support other British companies that want to come and do business in Vietnam. We try to identify opportunities where British commercial providers can come and help, so that is a key part of the Embassy's role. We also operate the British government's international scholarship scheme called Achieving. This year we're significantly expanding the Achieving program in Vietnam. In recent years we've had up to 10 scholars. This year we expect to have more than 20, possibly as many as 25. So it's nearly a 300% increase in the number of Achieving scholars. The relationship should not just be about what governments do, what ambassadors do, what ministers do. There are many people out there who are the heartbeat of the relationship. We always want to help strengthen that area.
I hope that Vietnam and the UK will have further cooperation in the future.
No, thank you very much.
And that's the end for Sharing Vietnam today. Thank you so much for watching us. Any questions and recommendations, please email to sharingvietnam@netvittv.net. And I hope that this show has shared with you about some of the new highlights in the strategic cooperation of Vietnam and the UK. Thank you and see you again.